This is really hard for me.
You're crushing it.
No.
You've gotten further than
I can't find his pants.
Welcome to Building Friendships. I am your host, John Sosis, and today's guest, she is a comic, she is a writer, she is an actress.
Wow.
Originally, I was going to say podcast host, but we'll discuss.
It's a possibility.
You've been there.
I've been there, I've done that, and I'll do it again.
You probably will. It's the podcast world.
Yeah,
You're a podcast girl.
You can't escape it.
It's Macey Isaacs.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
And we're going to build some Lego. So I asked you, I was like, what set do I get for Macey? Because part of the show is building friendships. I'm trying to talk to people that I don't know as like a day-to-day close friend, but people that I get along with, that we acquaintances.
But building it.
Yeah. So I asked you what your favorite movies were, and they were movies that you don't get Lego sets for.
Yeah. Once I realized that, I was like, did I think he was going to find an Uncle Buck set? Like,
there was going to be no Uncle Buck. There was going to be no...
But I did tell you about the one I did.
And that's part of what... So you listed some pretty solid, like, I would say, movies considered on, like, the film snob list. Mm-hmm. They're good films.
They're good films, yeah.
That you wouldn't have a Lego set. So there was one on the list that I was like, this is an amazing film series that you did not... that you didn't include. Mm-hmm. And I got you a Fast and Furious set.
Right. Can I be honest? I saw Speed and I thought it was the Sandra Bullock.
Oh.
Now I'm
sorry
disappointed.
to disappoint you that you have a Paul Walker Lego minifigure.
Oh, but I'm sure that's worth a lot, right?
Your Lego collection has started with the, I hate calling it the female Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I call it the 2016.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's a more friendly.
Yes. I mean, it is the female Ghostbusters.
The 2016 Ghostbusters Ecto-1. I guess at the time, I was just like, this isn't the original Ghostbusters. What am I going to bother for? But you get some good minifigures.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got Kristen Wiig, you got Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones. And, who am I missing? The Hemsworth brother and...
Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, and Ursula.
And Melissa McCarthy. Yes, also known as Ursula.
All known as Ursula. So,
I did not... Did you see The Little Mermaid?
I did. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
It was my first 4D movie. The only thing I could tell you, I may have spoken about this on the
4D?
podcast already. That's where they spray you with water and you smell things and things touch your ankles and wind blows at you. I felt like I was being waterboarded for 2.5 hours.
Right. I don't know. Where did they even do that?
The Chinese theater has a 4DX theater in there.
I like the thought. I went over to my friend's house and he came in with a squirt gun, and that's what you're counting as 4D.
I mean, I would have preferred that. For 2.5 hours, the whole last half of the movie takes place in the water. It is not a great experience.
Well, and I heard it's pretty it's a scary, dark, not really a kid movie. You know what I mean? I mean, it is.
It felt like a kid movie.
The plot, but it was dark, like literally.
I mean, it's only scarier because they're real life and it's not animated anymore. But I definitely didn't leave there thinking I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Sure.
I mean, I was more scared from the waterboarding. Yeah, I've
watched.
The only movie I've ever not slept from for a day or two was Blair Witch Project when I first saw it. Because I was 13, I saw it in theaters. It was very creepy.
Yeah.
But so you're an Elvis fan.
Yes, I do love Elvis.
Does that have to do with your upbringing? You're an Austin, Texas girl.
I just, the story goes that my sister, I think it was my mom or my sister told me that I just saw his picture when I was like 2 or even before that. And I just pointed and said him or something like that. And I just wanted to know everything about him. So I actually didn't first hear him. I first saw him.
That's interesting.
And then, and I just, ever since, has been my...
How old were you?
2, maybe.
Okay.
I don't remember a time where I didn't know who Elvis was.
That's wild.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Elvis for a long time was sort of like... If I heard a song, I would know the song but not know the artist. It's kind of how I feel about Dua Lipa. I hear the name all over the place. If she came and shit on my head, I wouldn't know it was Dua Lipa.
Right.
But then if you say, oh, Dua Lipa, this is Dua Lipa, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Right.
Dua Lipa. Yeah.
She is sort of she's kind of Elvis of right now. She's big.
That was not what I was getting at. No,
I don't even mean that in like a... And I would never speak ill of Elvis. I'm just saying that she's everywhere right now, I feel like. will somebody pick up where I left off? Like your
No,
next
that's
guest?
your set. You're gonna have to take it home, finish it, and send me a picture.
Really?
Of it.
Okay, so I am not a great multitasker because I like holding something while talking, but I don't want to have to think about where it goes. But you know what? I'm just going to start.
So you started in Austin,
can't
Texas.
either.
When did you move to LA?
I went to school out here. I went to college in 2010.
UCLA?
No, I went to Pepperdine, so a little bit farther away, but not much. And then just stayed out here. I started doing stand-up after college. So in 20...
So you were 22?
I was 23, yeah.
When did you know you were funny? Like, what was there a specific point where you were like, oh, I could do this for a living? Or
I mean, I
still
don't...
not convinced
Still
you're
not
funny?
sure.
Okay.
Every day is a new day to help me prove that I am or that I'm
Until
not.
you get that new faces and have to travel to Montreal.
Right, which is happening, I think, right now as we build.
Yeah, everybody left the center of the entertainment industry to go to Canada.
For the poutine.
To say that they are looking for the new faces of the entertainment industry. It's mind-blowing. So what made you decide to try stand-up? Because that's a very specific art form.
I started, I got an internship with a manager, and I remember like watching submissions and being like, I guess a part of me thought I could do it or something, but I also thought it was going to be really bad. I was like, these people are really unhappy. This is really sad. This can't be good. I'm not going to do this. That's silly. You weren't
wrong though.
No. But something happened where I forgot and I went and did it anyway.
Okay.
And I started doing improv during that time, taking classes at the Groundlings. And a friend of mine that I met who still does stand-up today, Mandy Martino, she said, you should really just do stand-up. And that's kind of like the feedback I was getting. They were like, because I was kind of just doing the same character over and over again.
you have a very distinct, I'm trying to think of, like you remind me of, what's her name from Parks and Rec? Like you have a
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, you have a very
They told me that a lot.
Yeah, you have a very dry delivery that's very funny. And it's like a sarcastic sense of humor that also... There's zero excitement in anything you're saying, but it works.
Yeah, and it wasn't the best for the Groundlings, though.
Well, that's the thing. That's like, it's very difficult to create other characters out of that.
Yes.
But that one character is perfect for, this is who I am on stage.
Right, exactly. So then I did a stand-up class, and which, classes... People are hard on classes for stand-up.
For no reason.
I know.
I could not have been happier that I took a stand-up class because I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
I needed to network with other comics.
Yeah.
Just Kirsten, who I still think is the most underrated comic working today.
Yeah.
It was her class.
Oh, it was her class. Where was it?
In New York, at Gotham Comedy Club. So that became my home club. So that's where I met like all the people that I know from the New York scene. And she would put me on shows. She was good at putting you on shows to learn, and I learned how to eat shit for nights. Like she would put me on after every big name that came in there. I was following Amy Schumer every Friday for a year. Like it was the early show, and this was before Amy Schumer became Amy Schumer.
Still.
Which is why I'll defend her till the end of time.
Yeah.
I would see her writing in the back, getting on stage, crushing. That's how I learned to eat shit and be okay with it. And without a comedy class, I would have eaten shit the first time and walked right out of stand-up. Which I did anyway, but that was...
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
I did Gotham when I went to New York like last month, and I performed at Gotham for the first time, and it was so much fun.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Gotham it's a very wide room, which is a weird setup. It's like not a half circle. So there was another club in New York, Comics. That club was a half circle, and that was my favorite. That was the first night I did stand up, and it was the best club in New York for like just a setup. Gotham's a very wide room.
Yes.
But it's also a fun room.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Were you on like just a best of show or?
I think so. It was during the week though. It was and it was great. It was really fun. Hotel Chelsea was like nearby, and that was a fun little hotel. I got a snack there before. I don't like to drink before I go on stage.
Oh, I couldn't eat or drink before I get on stage. Do you still get nervous?
No, yes, I do. But the alcohol doesn't help me.
No, and I had stomach issues, so it was
Yeah,
a bigger
that's just
problem.
gonna mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I never. It's always like, it's before a show or something. My friends would want to get a drink, and it's like, I can't.
Yeah,
I'll watch.
we'll meet up after the show.
Yeah.
It's usually at 4 in the afternoon.
Right.
When you're in a comedy class, it's like, oh yeah, your graduation show is 3 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess we'll get early dinner.
What's cool is so I did Greg Dean's stand-up comedy class, and he at the time, the showcase was in the belly room. So the very first show I ever did was in the belly room.
Oh, that's so funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she said to me, she goes, "Who the hell is Greg Dean?
Mm-hmm.
His name is on the wall right out front." And I was like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now
That's
you
him.
just brought it up now.
Yep.
So that's cool. So you took the comedy class, and how'd that go?
I really liked it. And I think that, it made the world a little bit smaller and manageable, because it's like, okay, these are the only people that exist in my comedy world right now. It makes you feel like you can actually do it.
Yeah.
I think if I had just started going out to open mics, I think that would have been really hard. And also, like, I'm still friends with people that I met in that class, like you are with your friend. So it's just, I liked it a lot. And I still didn't, like, go out a lot when I first started. I kind of just did the class, like, once a week. This is really hard for me.
You're crushing it.
No.
You've gotten further than
I can't find his pants. If I could just get him down, because that's just 3 pieces. But
I see.
You see pants?
Pants right there. Right. No. Middle.
Middle.
Up. Left. No. Right near. Up. Down.
His pants.
Yep.
Nice.
There we go.
So the Lego thing. You've been building them your whole life?
No, so it's also the Lego is sort of what replaced my stand-up. Not replaced my stand-up, but in 2014 I had to have surgery. I had my large intestine removed, and then I took
stomach issues.
Yeah, I had everything removed from the large intestine down.
I don't even know what all that is.
I didn't know you could have it removed.
Yeah.
Surprise! Don't need it.
You saw the small one?
The small one gets turned into what the big one did and takes over. It's magic.
Wow.
So when I had the surgery, they gave me Dilaudid, and I started hallucinating, talking to people on my couch that weren't there. I was like, I can't be on this shit. I bought a Lego movie theater set, and I was like, oh, this is my new thing.
Yeah.
And like I never went back to stand up after the surgery, but I had Lego. Who needs stand up?
So, I mean, it'll be interesting if after this I never do stand-up again, because I can just build Legos.
I don't think that's how it works.
No? Okay.
Especially if you're already struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. I'm not going to judge you.
You're saying struggling with the Legos?
Yeah, I feel like it's frustrating you.
Well, I think it's also, too, because, it's filmed and we're talking. And I think when I built my 2016 Ghostbusters car, I was watching the movie at the same time, but I had already seen the movie, so I didn't really have to pay attention. And
Got it.
I didn't have to speak at the same time.
Yeah, I think the beauty of this is nobody's going to watch this and be like, I can't believe this person was not able to talk and build Lego. Like, there's going to be it's not going to look poorly on you. It's going to look poorly on me for asking you to do this.
Well, if I've learned anything, it's that people are kind and understanding.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you did the stand-up class, and then at what point did you decide, okay, this is my thing now?
I kind of knew right away. I remember feeling so like elated that this exists, because like I obviously knew it existed and I watched it growing up, but I never ever thought that I would ever do it.
Yeah.
So it felt, whenever I was like, this is something I can do, I remember feeling just like this wave of relief, like thank God, like I can do this. And I feel like, I felt that kind of early on. My dad still asks me, what's my plan?
Did they ever see you do stand-up?
Neither of my parents have. My sister has.
Really?
My cousin has. Neither of my parents have seen
So you
me.
said you went to Catholic school. Did you grow up religious? Like, was it?
No, my parents weren't, my parents weren't Catholic. They were more just like Protestant-ish.
Got it.
But, so I was like a non-Catholic at the Catholic school, which was
you were that girl.
hard. Because, people got First Communion, I didn't, and I remember I actually wanted to convert to Catholicism, and I had a meeting with a Presbyterian pastor who was a woman. I still remember she introduced herself to me. She says, Peg rhymes with leg. So I never forgot her name, Peg, because it rhymes with leg. Okay. And she cautioned me and told me not to become a Catholic. And
Really?
yeah. And I didn't. And that was 2nd grade. And I decided not to. Whatever she said to me. I mean, I think she just said basically like I couldn't be a priest.
Well, I've convinced people not to convert for the sake of marriage.
Have you?
That's a weird thing. Yeah.
So
That's a very weird thing.
to convert for marriage
I
reasons?
think, yeah, to not be able to marry someone because their family wants you to be their religion. That's insane to me. That's more
Yeah.
insane than faking the death in your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but did they get married? They just didn't convert? And
Yeah,
were
they
friends?
eventually,
Okay.
like, the person eventually decided, you know what, if you really are okay with marrying me and if your family is okay with me joining the family, my religion, she wasn't even a religious person.
Yeah.
It's just for the Jewish religion, they just always feel better when you're with your own, and I don't get it, and it's why I'm not a very religious person. You know what it was? It was a weird thing for me. In college, I had a huge crush on a girl, and she was an Orthodox Jewish girl, and it was just never going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
That'll
all
do
because
it.
I'm not Jewish enough. And I'm like, well, okay.
Not
well,
enough.
yeah, I was not Ken off.
You were not enough.
Yeah. Okay, so you weren't particularly religious. They just...
But I went to the Catholic school forever. So, yeah.
So it wasn't like they're not seeing you do stand-up because of the material or anything like that? Like, that's what I was sort of curious about. Was it like, I don't want my parents to see it?
That would make me really... I think that would be the nervous maybe now it'd be better, but there was, for a while, I was like, I don't understand how people's parents just see them all the time do stand-up. Like, to me, that would be the most, like, nerve-wracking thing ever. I think I've already made a mistake, and,
there are no mistakes in Lego. You're just building something else now.
Or, I guess, I haven't glued anything, right? So I can always
Well, do you have the brick separator? Did they give you one for that?
What?
I could lend you mine. You use this thing, it picks up bricks.
Oh, look at that. I do not have a brick separator.
If you need to undo stuff, go for it.
So
you started performing, and you took the class.
And then I got lucky because I helped run a show up in the belly room for a little while.
Oh, nice.
So I got stage time for like running the sound and everything.
Okay.
And that was a great opportunity to just get up
so
and perform.
It's probably a big deal to get into development. Like, you've been around this place for a minute now.
Yeah, I was very, very excited.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I figured it out.
There you go. I knew you would. It's Lego.
It's Lego. Yeah, I figured it out.
And were you all? Because I want to talk about the short film you did also.
Oh, okay.
That's great. Were you writing? Was your plan to be a writer regardless? Was stand up just an?
No, I think.
Because you wrote the short film.
Yeah, I co-wrote that. Yes, which was super fun, and I enjoy and I love writing. But I think that stand up is. I don't ever like some people. I think do stand up to do other things. Right?
Yeah.
But I think for me, I do really love stand up, and I don't want to ever stop doing that. So even if I were to like, and I don't feel like I feel like I'm a writer in that I write my stand up stuff, and I did co-write that short film, and I've written other stuff, but I sort of feel like I'm a stand up comic first.
Which is good because there's not a lot of that anymore. I think right now what I'm seeing is a lot of I want to be on TV any way I can. TV and film. And then I'll do stand up just to do it.
What I think is crazy now is you almost have to do TV just to do stand up. Like I feel like there's a push now for me to just get a sort of credit.
Well, it's not the credit. I could tell you a lot of people who are on TV and it's the social media. That's true too. The credit means nothing because I can name 10 comics that should be bigger because of a credit they have. But they just don't have the social. That's what's blowing my mind about comedy now. It's not.
That is true.
It used to be more of a meritocracy, and now it's just sort of.
It does seem like though, if you do get it depends on what the credit is, but the credit can also lead you to more followers.
Yes,
which I guess still is social media.
That's where it needs to click. Like the credit needs to click and get you those followers.
That's crazy, yeah.
It's not even that the credit alone could work. I mean, look, you'll get headlining spots, but you have to prove yourself, and if you can't sell out the room or you bomb, they're not giving you spots based off your credit. But if you have the followers and you know the people are you're gonna fill that room every single time, you'll headline every club in the country.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how things work now. And do you like?
No.
Do you not like this way of?
No.
You don't.
I don't. I mean, I think
it didn't exist when I started stand up, so it's mind blowing to me to see how you guys have to do it now.
Yeah, and I feel like it was just starting when I started, so it's like I didn't. Yeah, I think it's good for people that have figured it out, but I don't feel like I'll ever do anything noteworthy on social media. Like I feel like.
But you've had clips blow up, right? I mean, what do you consider noteworthy at this? What's noteworthy?
That's true, but I guess I just mean like that medium for me isn't like what I think in. Like I don't I know some people just are always thinking and what
they have a short form thinking brain.
Yeah.
Like, I could do a little sketch here and
and I'll sometimes think like, oh, this would be good as a stand-up clip.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking of like other things to film.
I don't think there's a peak for stand-up because there will always be bigger things. Sort of like Taylor Swift, I feel like every tour gets bigger and bigger, and as you get bigger things happen. And it happened with Rogan, and then like you start to have all your friends come on the road with you. So it starts in like the small venues, then you headline in theaters, then you go into the arenas, then you go into like there's room to grow.
Yeah.
I constantly think about for athletes, like once you get that championship, best case scenario, you win the championship again.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to really, you don't win a bigger championship. You can't really.
Just more.
Yeah. Like throughout your career, if you're a young player and you're on a championship team or you're LeBron James and you do it relatively early or whatever, where do you grow from there?
Yeah.
So then he starts a production company. Well, now we're in this business.
Right.
And it's like you have to kind of expand where I think if you want to be a pure stand-up, you could keep growing and do the big venues. You'll never run out of big venues to do.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Taylor Tomlinson. It's wild.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's you can put in the work and have a lengthy career where you continue to peak. Yeah.
And you're always working on, like, I don't know, like I know Mark Maron said like the most recent one he did, the most recent hour was like the best he's ever done. So I feel like if you can have that feeling too,
that
as
too,
well.
yeah.
What
and
does this mean?
Great.
Does it just mean how far along I am? Like this line right here, down here, just how far I am in this progress? Yeah. They shouldn't tell me that.
I mean, it's a good reminder that you got a ways to go.
I figured this out. Wow, I feel really smart when I.
Like, wow. For you.
Wow.
What would you say is the hardest thing about doing stand-up right now?
I think it's hard balancing my time and like, this is for everything, not just stand up, but I need some nights where I can just rest.
Yeah. You have a family, you have like a house.
Yes. And and I think it helps me like creatively to turn off for a little bit and like just watch TV and just relax and like, and I think it's hard with our, our go culture, and you feel like you're not allowed to like take a night off. And even though I've learned that's better for my mental health, it's better for everything. But it's like I don't know how to, I'll notice though if I'm out every night for a while, like a few days in a row and I didn't take a break, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to die. Yeah. And I'm so depleted.
So since I gave my notice here, I've been spending less nights here. People are like, "Why do you look so happy? Why do you look so rested?" I'm like, because I don't have this. I'm not surrounded by this chaos, and I'm relaxing. But then there's the FOMO. The other night,
I know
you have to balance the FOMO. Yeah. Right? So like the other night, I missed Jason Momoa here. But what the fuck did I think was going to happen? We were going to become friends. I would have seen him in the hallway and been like, oh, I was in the same hallway as Jason Momoa. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. I'm in bed writing and I'm relaxing. Yeah. It's like you have to figure out, like, are you going to be more upset that you missed it or more upset that you missed out on sleep or family time or whatever? Yes,
exactly. So I think I guess that's hard in any situation, but that's really hard too, because it's like I know there are some people that can be out every night and can grow like that.
What's one thing you would change about yourself if you could?
Oh my God.
We're getting deep now.
Oh my goodness. I think that I want to always keep the peace. Like that's the most important thing to me. And so there are times where I don't stand up for either something like I believe or think or whatever because I want to just go with the flow.
Yeah, and you don't want to be that person.
And I don't want to be that person. And I also don't want to make that person who's maybe being mean I don't want them to feel mad at me because I just called them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I end up staying quiet and I look back and I'm like, I kind of wish I would have said something. And I think, peace is nice.
It is.
But if I had to change, I guess that's just something I'm working on, is speaking up when I should, or even just like my wants and needs. I don't love making those known.
Yeah. Which you kind of, in this industry, you have to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if you don't, and I say that to a lot of the comics here because there's a big problem here where people don't ask for things. A lot of them will complain that I only have one spot. And it's like, well, did you ask her? Well, I don't want to bother her. All the comics are asking for things. I'm like, exactly. All the comics are doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know that, if you don't tell her that that's what you need, you're not getting it. Nobody's going to offer you more than they want to give you if you don't ask for it.
This squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hear it a lot here and everybody's scared to ask. And it genuinely blows my mind that people just don't push for it.
Because you're afraid of the no, right?
Yeah. And that's what people ask me how I get like meetings with networks and this and that. I literally, half the time, I'll send a cold email.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, it doesn't get it doesn't get read. Best case scenario, it gets read.
Yeah.
And they want to do something. And then there's that middle ground of, hey, we're not looking for anything right now, but the door's open, send us whatever. Right. It's like you have to take those shots, and a lot of people just don't. It's weird.
Yeah. How did you like the Lego movie?
I thought it was smart. I
liked it.
I thought it was...
but it was a while ago. I saw it in theaters. I think I laughed a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. For a movie that... It's exactly like Barbie, where I'm like, I don't know what to expect because it's a toy that they're forcing into a movie. There's Barbie that I had to see 2 times.
You've seen it twice? I want to see it again.
I saw it the first time. I left the theater thinking, what the fuck?
How'd you feel about yourself?
In terms of like what? In terms of...
I don't know. I watched it as a woman, so...
I left feeling kind of like... I was indifferent to all of that because I couldn't see myself as Ken because Ken was a very specific depiction of a man.
Yes, it's very stereotypical.
So I couldn't really see myself as Ken, but at the same time
You're not Barbie.
No, I'm never.
So who are you in Barbie? You're not America Ferrera either. You're
not in Barbie, I think I'm Alan.
You're Alan.
I'm just friends with everyone.
That's why Alan's there.
Alan's kind of just a dude. I think I'm running into a situation.
Do you need your fixer?
No, I think I'm trying to figure out why.
Oh, you got extras? I don't know why you would have all those colors. Why, like orange and yellow?
These are all extra pieces.
So they do give extras. That's nice.
Yeah, they thought it all through. I'm
just trying to find this one piece.
Okay, so I think we've figured it out. I'm about to wrap it up, which means we are getting close to wrapping up the episode. You're pretty close too, I think.
I'm really, really close. I would say I have the undercarriage of a car.
Sure.
That's the undercarriage.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I got my car backup camera fixed today. My backup camera went out. Just said no signal.
Nobody hit you? It just got disconnected?
Someone, during all the rain that we had, one guy was like, maybe it's from all the rain. And I was like, okay, I'll go with that.
Okay. Seems legit. Seems like science.
And so I took it back to the dealership, and they were like, oh, we don't work with that company anymore, so you're going to have to go somewhere else. So then I went today to finally get it fixed because I've been driving for like 3 months without a backup camera. I've had some issues. It's been It's been hard. And my mechanic that I go to, he can't do it. And he told me just to go old school. That's the cheapest way. And I was like, and he has a Swedish accent. So I couldn't really understand him. And I was like, old school.
That's a problem.
And then I realized he just thought I should look behind me when I pull back.
That's a pretty novel idea. That's one of those things where I'm like, how did people do this?
I know. Before.
It's the same thing with cell phones, all of it.
I know.
How?
And I always, because I didn't realize we were guessing so much when we backed up before a camera. Because like you can look, but you can't see. There could be a baby.
Well, I would imagine the accident rates were much higher before the camera.
Yeah. I mean, the times I just would cross my fingers every time I went into reverse.
No,
but now
so you were kind of religious.
Yeah, superstitious.
Yeah.
But now I got it back and that feels really good. Now I actually drove here in reverse because I can now.
I fucked up somewhere.
I did too, actually.
I cannot figure out where.
I don't like this sign. What does that mean?
That means reverse.
Just reverse the whole thing?
Yeah. You're doing a complete reverse.
But you know what? I just wish but that's so many, I don't know. It's like,
okay.
You know when people say like, I did a 360? It's like, no, you did a 180.
Yeah.
If you do a 360, you're just
back
where
to where
you
you
are.
started. Yeah. People don't understand that. That's just math.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of how I feel about this symbol though. The arrows just keep going. So it's, when do I stop?
I think you're done. You've knocked over Paul Walker. He's been through enough.
I don't know how that happened actually. He's still standing, right?
I think that's a wrap. I got very close. I'm one piece off, which has never happened before, but
really
we're
sad.
deep into discussion.
Yeah. And I can put Paul Walker on the undercarriage and look, it's kind of like
it's kind of like he's fixing it.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now it's Star Wars. I haven't seen them, but
I've never seen. Have you not seen Star Wars?
Not really. I've seen Spaceballs,
I've tried to see it. I fall asleep every Christmas.
Oh, you know what? I did see the one with the pods that came out.
Yeah, the best one with Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that one and I liked it, but I haven't really gone back and I don't know the whole trajectory.
That was the best one, and it's.
I don't think people say that's the best one, do they? Or is that you? Is that a you thing?
I believe it's the best one.
I had the racing on Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Which was really fun.
I think you did pretty well for your first Lego interview.
I think so. I mean, I just am glad that I stayed the whole time and I didn't get emotional and I didn't get down on myself.
I think it looks great.
Thank you.
I would watch that movie.
This looks like a John Hughes movie.
They've been to space in Fast and Furious, so you're not far off.
That's right. I heard about that.
Where can people find you?
They can find me I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I signed up for Threads. I haven't threaded yet. You didn't do that? You had to.
You're such a influencer.
Yeah, no, I am. They can find me on @Macey Isaacs. And also, I run a monthly show at the Crow. You can come see. It's called the Picture Day Show. Then come to a show. I host it.
It's a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
Can they see your short film online?
Yes, called Pink Trailer. That's on my website. If you want to go to my website, which is MaceyIsaacs.com. It's on Vimeo. But I think if you just Google Pink Trailer short film, it'll come right up.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for watching. You can follow me at Say It Ain't Sosis, Building Friendship series on Instagram. And we'll be back with another episode. And hopefully, I don't know. I can't cancel myself. Yeah, we'll be back.
Oh, you probably should, though.